Hi, I'm John Klein. In my spare time, I'm a blogger, and I just wondered if you had any thoughts on the new media and independent media like student papers and what role they'll play in developing the new Canadian narrative.
Blogs are obviously a huge source for people. People are getting more and more of their, you do surveys and say more and more people, especially younger generations, are getting most of their news from blogs. They don't trust mainstream media. That's hilarious, because where are the blogs getting the information from? I mean, who's out there? Bloggers do not go out.
I went out yesterday, in fact, to a board meeting, but all the media was there too.
Yeah,
but I could give my,
You're very unusual in that respect, that you actually go out and cover something.
I agree.
Most of them just sit there and they read all the papers and they put their own spin on it and say, I don't trust the mainstream media, I'm going to read my blog here. Well, where does this information come from? I mean, there's so few people out there actually collecting the stories and digging out the stuff and asking the questions, and they bring it back, and then the world doesn't trust them because they have to get their blogger to tell them that let me tell you what this really means from my living room here at my Takashima. And anyway, I mean, a lot of blogs are.
You're not winning over the bloggers with this.
Pardon me?
You're not winning over the bloggers with this.
I'm not. I have a lot of blogs. I'm very faithful to a number of blogs that I think are really good because they link me to things that wouldn't to other reporters' work and real stuff that's being done. And I think that that's great.
Or something presented on a blog.
I thought I revised my view on blog. Did I complain on the blog thing?
Fairly seldom.
Yes, I think that's one of the helpful things is that people, there's a skepticism going there. But I've just seen too many blogs where just, bad information just keeps getting spun around unchallenged. And that's far more worrisome because in addition to corporations who can spin, there's an incredible industry of revisionism out there. And if you think that Holocaust deniers are skilled at getting their message across, there's incredible efforts on the part of people in different countries to spin the story as to what occurred and get those out and end up in blogs. And I've seen extraordinarily wrong information. I mean, deliberately revisionist information end up on CTV and CBC and in the newspapers because revisionists have been able to get that information out. And I think I've seen a lot of it bleed into the blogs, and people just don't know. No one's questioning stuff. And I don't think blogs are alone in not questioning things, but that's where I've seen a lot of it. But at the same time, if you have a critical mind, it's a great place to go and cross-reference things where people say, you're wrong about that because I found this, and look at this, look what he said in 1992. And people will dig that stuff out. And far more interestingly than blogs is citizen journalism, and I don't know if people are aware of the citizen journalist movement. That's they're being just driven out of their communities because someone wants to build some portable factory there, pollute their water, flood their land. And so these citizen journalists have emerged where they actually, local people just actually do the story. They actually will get it onto blogs like, lines, like online journalism. And they have to stay underground because if they're caught, they'll be arrested. And yeah, exactly. They're catching these people, these citizen journalists all the time. They just go in there suddenly, you have a raid in your house because you've been telling the story what's going on in your community in the way that journalists never could. And that's a blog-like community within it because they compare notes into, how the government is allowing for people to be run out of town or to have their land flooded or stolen. Confiscation of land happening all the time. And they've been really incredible, those blogs about getting the information out. You see it a lot in the countries where media is very restricted, where people are unable to report, where journalists are in jail all over the place. And that's where you see this other kind of blogging, which is the only kind of journalism that exists, and it's done anonymously because, you're in jail if you get caught. And, a lot of that stuff is wrong too, but it's the only way they can get anything out. They can cross-reference and compare notes that way and actually get something closer to the truth. So I really admire that stuff. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Ashley Martin. You keep talking about media concentration as a problem. I'm just wondering where you think we can begin to fix that problem.
Well, media concentration is an issue in every industry, or the corporate concentration and laws, more laws. Balance are what creates most distortions in journalism. To balance the story means that there's two sides and they're both equal. Well, there's two sides to every story and they're never equal. If you tell both sides of the story fairly, one side will always outweigh the other side. There's just it's called the truth, The truth doesn't come through balance, because if you try and balance something, you have to torque one side in order to make it equal to the other side and balance it out. And then you've got a distortion. You don't have the truth. The pursuit is to get to what's true. Balance is a ridiculously failed notion of that. And fairness, absolutely, scrupulously fair, is what's required. Edward R. Murrow was the guy who said it, that there's two sides to every story and they're never equal. And I learned a lot from that. No. That's out of the bag, but once again, I've admitted I'm not balanced. But, I'm not balanced in any respect, I know. Yeah, terribly imbalanced.
Hi, Carol. I'm Amanda Marcotte. And what you were talking about with access, I think journalists face that all the time, from the simplest story to the local sports team to whatever. Access is such an issue now, it seems like. And I don't know if it was better or if journalists used to do their jobs better.
We have a problem in that we just don't invest the time, and we're not allowed to invest the time. And sometimes we're just too lazy to invest the time. But I think that we haven't done enough to win trust, and I think that's why we've lost so much access. Because they just see themselves, people just see themselves on a television program, or radio, or print, and they just feel so exposed. They just feel that they're almost like betrayed. They feel so uncomfortable with it. Whereas seeing yourself find a public water fountain. I was in the airport today. I wanted to drink of water. In the bathroom, you could get under the tap. You can't because you've got the motion sensor.
It's hot water.
And so wearing it in the social stuff, you can't drink water anymore unless you buy a $5 bottle. I mean, that's crazy. And that should be so expensive. If you want to use this kind of stuff, it should be. Here, but not as strong as it is in Great Britain. I think that I think some of the best journalism I've seen is still going on in the UK. Having said that, the United States produces the best and worst of everything, doesn't it? The worst journalism and the best journalism, the worst movies and the best movies. I mean, they still manage to overcome all this. This is what I love about watching them reinvent their narrative again, in the political race. But I'm most proud of. Speaking to the students today, when people, I'm most proud of journalists who are telling their very small story of their small community and trying to get to the bottom of it and facing the kinds of rejection they'll have, shunning even by their own communities, because that's the hardest thing to do. I know it's easy to, it's not easy, but to go to other countries and to get the story and bring that back, who's going to challenge that, But to tell your own story, to go and go after the mayor of your town, or to expose, the problems with, sewage treatment, or the school board, or, to expose things that are going wrong in your own backyard, is so hard to do. And then the next day you're in the supermarket, and the person you wrote about it is there next to you, and you started like, oh gosh, I don't want to treat them. And you cross the street a lot. I think local journalists are always just, oh, I got to speak down here, oh, I got to, and I really, really, really respect those people. And I think it's harder and harder to do that because there's so few places to do it. But I run into it all the time, these little pockets of it, where just somebody has the cojones to go after their, local city council. And I just, that's the strength. If that goes, we're feeling that that's fine. Let them make as much money as they want. And make all the money in the world and tax the hell out of them. And use that tax to fund really good public broadcasting.
All right, I'm Jill Smith. I'm a fourth-year journalism student. I've been asked to give the official thank you to Carol, so thank you for taking your time and a night off of as it happened. I'm sure they're listening to come talk to us, especially the Q&A today. I think it was a big pick-me-up that we all needed, especially this time of semester. And I can say I can probably retire my jokes about becoming a PR person when I graduate, and I think I'm pretty proud, along with all my classmates, to join the ranks as a journalist in a month and 3 days. But